Hey everybody, Chris here from Watching the Throne, and today we are going to do a Kanye West news rundown and quickly go through some of the stories that have cropped up in the last week regarding Kanye and give some details and insight into them. First up, Team Kanye Daily shared this picture on Instagram from Mandy, and she got to meet Kanye today in a restaurant, and you can see some of the pictures here. This is the group with Kanye in the background doing a typical Kanye pose. And then you get this larger photo, right? And then you get the story, which I can't show you the bottom of, so I'm actually going to go to her Instagram account. So as the saying goes, you can't judge a book by its cover. So true. So true. Anyone who follows our Instagram stories knows every Tuesday morning I meet with a fantastic group of professionals for business and breakfast. Today, Kanye West happened to be seated at the table right outside our room, in the middle of Dev Don presentation, a little distracting to say the least. Yeah, my face would be pressed to the glass. Kanye, is that you? Hi. I asked our waitress if she would be kind enough to see if he would take a photo with our group. Bold ask. Surprisingly, he obliged. But what was even more impressive was how kind and generous he was with his time. Not just with us, but with the staff and the customers of the establishment as well. I've always been a huge fan of his music, but the person, Today's interaction reminded me that you can't always believe what you see or hear in the media, especially social. My tip for you this Tuesday, take time to actually get to know people and businesses. You may be surprised at what you learn. And yes, I made Ye smile. So that's a pretty good story, and it's in line with a lot of what I've heard from and read from people that have met Kanye, is that they all are really impressed by his one-on-one I'm trying to think of the word, not like demeanor, behavior, but just how he is as a person in the one-on-one experience. Like, so many people have talked about, I didn't know what to expect. You just kind of see him in the media, and then you get to meet him, and he's so like patient and like intelligent and wanting to hear from you. It's cool to just consistently see these stories about him, and that there's a difference between how he's presented and how he's kind of shown at times versus the people everybody else gets to meet and know. One of the stories that I like telling is that I got to go to the Jimmy Kimmel show where Kanye was at. I just happened to be in Los Angeles visiting family, and yeah. So when Kanye finished that interview, he was like, he waved and was gonna walk away, and they cut to commercial, and there was a guy in the front row who kind of stood up and pointed to Kanye as Kanye was walking away, and you could just see it was like a fan that was really inspired. And I think he probably said something like, "I love you," and you could see he caught Kanye's attention, and Kanye just turned around and walked over to him and gave him like and hugged him, and then walked away. Just took that little extra time to go and show somebody some love, and you could see how excited the guy was afterwards. It had to be like someone that was like 21, 22, and he was just like, oh my god, that just, oh my god. Yeah. Just a little extra thing that Kanye didn't have to do. So there are those stories. Our Breathe In and Breathe Out episode just came out. I'm just throwing that in there if you want to hear that analysis. This is something that I just made a video on last night about this time. Timbaland had a snippet of, I was careful to say that it might be Yandi, it might not be Yandi, and they're just like, yeah, Yandi. But it's this video right here, which Timbaland since deleted. But you can go back and watch the video that I posted yesterday on it if you want to get the full breakdown and context and analysis. Or you can read this article on Uproxx. One's better than the other. Here's this article on high snobiety. I never know how to say this. High snobiety. By Robert Blair. Only one, deconstructing the old Kanye versus new Kanye diversion. It's a good article. It's definitely worth reading. It didn't quite get into what I expected it to. I thought it would be a little bit heavier into what was old Kanye and what is new Kanye, and how that division actually isn't as obvious as it appears to some people. In fact, it might not ever have been a thing aside to how he was maybe going about his albums or the music, but the man himself is pretty much the same person. But nonetheless, it's a pretty insightful article that looks at a lot of the religious emphasis on Kanye's music and spirituality in his life in general, then and now, and just kind of explores the demeanor between that Kanye and this Kanye, who is just the same Kanye. So that article, the link to that will be down in the details. Is that what it's called? The description. We wrote the Yeezus book, just right there. You can go and get a copy. And then what else? Kim Kardashian. So I don't take anything on Hollywood life seriously for a second, right? It's just all bullshit. But this was just pretty funny to me because it's the idea that Kim Kardashian and Kanye West ready to play matchmaker for Khloe after Tristan split. That just like Kanye would be in this mood to be like, yeah, you know what? Let's figure this out. Like, I'm going to work on the Yeezys. I'm going to work on Yandi. I'm going to like parent, but I'm going to do this matchmaker thing. Like, I'm pretty good at setting people up. So Khloe, let's do this. And that he just goes into Khloe's dating life with the same passion that he goes into everything else. That concept is so amusing to me that if that was a reality show, you watch every episode of that, right? Could you imagine just a whole spin-off show that's like Kanye helping Khloe date? Oh my goodness, that'd be amazing. What else do we got? Oh yeah, this kind of sucks. So this guy sued Kanye, Cudi, and Ty Dolla $ign, and it's the guy that does the voice that you hear at the start of Free, this Ronald Oslin Bob Simple. It turns out that it's not Marcus Garvey that you hear giving this speech. It's this dude that has been performing as Marcus Garvey for decades, I guess. Okay. I have a Kanye podcast, so no knock to anybody like hustling to do what they do, because we all end up in weird places sometimes. But you can see this is an example of him doing it in 1998. So he's been at this for a while. But it turns out that Kanye, in a very Kanye way, never got sample clearance. And this guy's like, hey, give me money, like, or else. So another lawsuit aimed at Kanye. This also comes in the wake of Kanye and EMI, where Kanye had been suing EMI to get out of his contract, and now EMI has countersued Kanye, which I'm sure you've heard about at this point, saying that Kanye was trying to make the contract about Los Angeles or California, but that when they signed the deal and the statutes of the deal were New York. And by New York legal law, Kanye's claim of the 7-year servitude rule that's applicable in California has nothing to do with New York, and him trying to get out of the contract is in fact a breach of contract. So we'll see what a shit show this turns into and hope that Kanye wins. But the music industry has a lot riding on Kanye not winning, because if he wins and gets all of his masters back the way that he wants, that's where the music industry makes so much of their money, is having the rights to the masters, because that gives them the rights to then all the streaming, all the publishing, all of it. So they're gonna fight tooth and nail for that. So this is gonna be a big one. DJ Booth actually had a really good article about that. What else do we got? Sneakers, Yeezys. So Adidas had a meeting going over its 2018. So CEO Casper Rorsted was talking about the role of Yeezy in what they're going to be doing. And he said Adidas is also continuing to evolve its strategy for its Kanye West collaboration. In a normal year, we'll have between 20 and 30 launches of Yeezy products. 3 years ago, we did 2 or 3. Yeah, shit's getting way more prolific. Some of these new sneakers won't be as limited a release as Yeezy shoes have traditionally been. We changed the model, but it does not change the fact that we will make very scarce launches for certain shoes and sometimes we'll suddenly have a different shoe. Yeah, sometimes they really do suddenly have a different shoe. And that seemed to be all that was mentioned, at least all that Business Insider mentioned. But there was another article by Footwear News, and you would hope that they would have the more detailed of the articles between it and Business Insider. So they continued on by saying, in an interview with Bloomberg TV, CEO Casper Rohrstedt explained, "We have been very, very happy with the relationship we've had with Kanye West, and we will continue to be. What we've done is introduce more and more pieces of footwear into the market, not only the 350, but the 500 and 700. We'll continue to do so in 2019 and on, and we believe that the current relationship we have with Kanye is very successful." Yeah, I would say that it's been pretty successful. In September, Adidas recorded the largest digital drop of a Yeezy model to date through the Yeezy Boost 350 V2 Triple Whites, which was hailed as a major commercial success by the brand, with millions of visits on its website, as well as media mentions and search interests that surpassed previous Yeezy releases. I like this. Just the CEO of Adidas being like, right now, we're just trying to make sure that we keep bringing really hot footwear into the market to drive the brand. So he just kind of gets into more about how they view Yeezy as not just a product, but like it's brand building. It's one of the things that are just driving Adidas forward. And they really want the 350 to be this thing that's special. And I love the 350, you know? So then we get a little bit of kind of the earnings and Adidas, and that's it for Yeezy. And I guess that's it for the rundown of Kanye West news. There hasn't been much else going on. There's a video I want to do going over an old school Kanye interview from 2004. So I think I'll get to that tomorrow night. But that video has a lot of interesting things. It might be a little bit of a longer video. So if that ends up being the case, very sorry, but I think you'll be entertained, or not impressed, but interested in the content of that interview, because it's 2004 Kanye really sharing some insight into college dropout and his process in a way that I haven't heard before. And I think he talks about his music making process in a way that he hasn't really since, because he's just like, an artist doesn't talk about how you make everything. But back then he's just like, this is how I made everything. So pretty cool. We also have the Club Kanye thing going on. You can find details on our Patreon page, but essentially it's a private curated space for Kanye fans where the discussions are led by Travis and myself. And we're going to have unique discussions every week that also drive some of the bonus episodes we record on the podcast. You also get early access to our podcast, and it goes a long way to supporting what we're doing with the YouTube channel, the podcast in general, our Twitter accounts, the book writing, and everything else we got planned. So if you're interested in being part of that, helping us out, there's that. And then the easiest way to help us out is just continuing to watch videos, like, and subscribe. That tells YouTube that this is a channel that people are interested in and enjoying. And in turn, YouTube then shares it with more people, being like, hey, you may like this. Hey, you may like this, which is very helpful to us. We've seen a huge increase just this month alone. So thank you very much to everybody that's been watching, been subscribing. It's really nice. I got into this, I started doing this channel last year around this time, and we were getting 20 to 30 views per video. And it's just nice to see that that's increasing. So thank you very much for the support. And if you have any content requests, let me know. Keep bothering me about it and I'll get to it. But thanks for watching. We'll be back soon. Until then, stay wavy and keep it loopy.